We'll go episode 7. It's episode 7. So 3, 2, 1, and go. Hey out there. It's April 11th, 2018, and this is episode 7 of Video Games Were a Mistake. I have returned from PAX. I do not have the PAX pox, and I'm here with two wonderful gentlemen. I've got Jermaine with me.
Hello, live with the colored lights and all that fun stuff.
And I've got the always illustrious, impossible to duplicate, Ian Boudreau.
Ladies and gentlemen, greetings.
That's not that you're hard to duplicate, Jermaine. Not that you're easy.
I mean,
not that I
cool.
can't just find 10 more of you.
Yeah, I get it.
That was a copy
It is
paste
what it
anyway,
is.
so yeah, it's fine.
Just green screen
It's
me
nice of you to
out.
say that.
Just green screen. Let's just put it in another person. Let's just
Put it in the chat.
So how have you guys been? It's been so
Doing
long.
well, man. Yeah, it's been like 6 months or
Yeah,
feels
we've
like
been
it.
through some
Double
times.
digit days.
Good God, what
Double-digit
happened?
days. What a great cast we put out last week. Wasn't
Right?
it fantastic?
Oh,
The
man,
solo-
that one thing
Showed us the
happened.
metrics, isn't that like our most popular episode? It was like 30
It's
seconds.
close, yeah. It's second,
Yeah.
right behind the Sea of Thieves episode, but it's like 30 seconds long, if that. And I did not edit it at all because I literally posted it from my phone. And,
Nice.
Oh, wow.
the whole world
Technology.
listened. But remember when I said I was like, people are going to want to know where we're at, so
You
we
were
got to say
correct.
something. They will download. So yeah, PAX happened.
PAX, Boston.
Do you want to just jump right in? Man,
Yeah,
'cause I
man.
wanna hear about it, too.
Yeah. So
I'm
okay,
excited to
so
hear
I
about
went to PAX and it was absolutely wonderful. What is going on here? I got a little situation happen with my overlay. That's fine. All right, so I went to PAX. It is in Boston. It was very cold. I'm like, I don't understand what happened. It's supposed to be spring, Massachusetts. It's April. It was like 30 degrees when I got off the plane.
Oh, nice.
So it
Welcome
dropped.
to my latitude. Yeah, that's what it's like up here.
So when I got on the plane in Charlotte, it was 70 degrees. And when I got off the plane, it was 30. So
Jeez.
that was fun. I also had to come straight from work, so I was in a straight up suit. So I roll in, and so for those who don't know, maybe don't follow me on social media. So I worked with Larian Studios, the developer that made Divinity Original Sin 2.
Nice.
And I
Fantastic game.
yeah, absolutely phenomenal. I've sunk like 80 hours into that game.
Jeez.
So I volunteered with them at their booth, along with like 10 other people, which was really cool because everyone that works at the Larian booth is always a volunteer. So they bring like 4 or 5 of their employees, and then they bring community members in to work at the booth, which is really neat because it makes for a really cool vibe because everybody that's there is super
It's an
excited.
enthusiast. Yeah, they want to. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's great.
exactly. So everybody there is super pumped about the game, right? And let me just say that Larian's booth was unbelievable, and it was
Oh, man.
it was, I would argue, I mean, it wasn't the most expensive booth at PAX, but it was the coolest because, so Larian, in case you don't know, is putting out Divinity on consoles this summer in August, which is a big thing because a lot of people have played the first one co-op on consoles, and it still hasn't come out yet, so a lot of people are really chomping at the bit. So they announced that, but also the preview build that they had there was a split screen co-op build, right? So like you know, because Divinity's 1 to 4 player co-op, right? But I mean, it's straight up split screen, like right down the middle, and they had setups where. And so, you know, they're saying, you know, now you can couch co-op it, which is a cool idea, but it's hard to replicate at, you know, a con because you go in and, you know, you're like standing there and maybe you have your buddy and so they hand you. So what Larian did is they actually brought couches, and their whole booth was
nice.
built
That's really
around
cool.
roughly like, I think it was a dozen couches
Holy
that
crap.
you could sit on
Wow.
and like play Divinity, and it was awesome. I mean, it was so cool. Also, they've made a ton of improvements to that game. Like they fixed the inventory system, which I thought was sort of wonky. You kind of worked around it, so you can see all the party's inventory. They did some stuff
That's
around
helpful.
the
Yep.
yeah,
Okay.
and the journal stuff is the biggest change I think. So the journal in that game is like notoriously bad. It's just not very good. It's really hard to understand. Divinity is one of those games that not a lot of people finish, and I think it's because it's really long. And what happens is you leave it and you come back and you have no idea where anything is.
That's what's about to happen to me when I jump back into there. Because
Yeah.
I can have like 15 or 20 hours in, and I can't really remember what was happening.
Good God.
But
Yeah.
I love it. I think it's great. And it's like for console owners, man, I mean, I think it's going to be such a good value if you want to do any of that co-op kind of. It's got to be one of the best, I would say, co-op experiences that you could have.
Yeah, I mean it's fantastic. Like I really am excited to I'm excited to play it again with the new stuff, and I don't know. I'm just pumped about it. So one of the cool parts of it is that so they made all these changes, which is fantastic, right? So they fixed the journal so that you can actually figure out where you're supposed to go when you come back to the game, and it's very clear. That they're just cool dudes. They're still working on their game. They're still doing Kickstarter updates. The game, released on Steam last year. They're still doing stuff. I mean, just the right kind of gaming company, right? And there was a story going around this week. I don't want to like toot Larian's horn, but I mean, I literally spent like 5 days with him, right? And
I mean, this is your experience at PAX, man. I don't blame you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll get all the Larian love out of the way, but like they were just great. Could not have asked for a better experience. They treated us like royalty.
Nice.
They were just incredible. I mean, literally, the wife of Sven, who is like the head guy at Larian, during the con, so that it's getting busy, and we're helping people into the booth, and she's like running around asking all the volunteers like, "How are you? Do you need something to drink? Are you hungry?
Man.
Do you need a
That's
break?"
awesome.
Like, I mean, it's just a different. It's not what you would expect, right? They were just incredible to me, and I can't recommend it enough. If you're at all into that game and you want just a fantastic experience, follow them on Twitter and just wait till they look for volunteers for PAX, and you should absolutely. I mean, it's a great way to go to PAX. But so that was great. But the nice part about it was that Thursday I didn't have to work the show. So the way, I worked 3 days, and one of the days I was just completely off and I got to do it. When this is the very first Thursday I think that PAX has ever had, right?
Yeah, it's normally Friday through Sunday, right? So
Yeah, so it's normally Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
with some
and-
Monday stuff sometimes, but yeah.
Yeah, so this time they opened Thursday to everyone, which was amazing because no one was there. I mean, it was probably a third of the people that are normally at PAX, right?
Holy crap.
So I literally just walked around the show floor in one day and saw every game that I wanted to play. Every single game that I wanted to play, I just walked up and played it. I didn't wait.
Nice.
I waited to play exactly one game, and that game was Dropmix, which had promo cards, which apparently are notoriously very, very hard to get. And I'll go into that here in a minute. But Dropmix is a really cool thing. But I waited 5 minutes to play Dropmix, and that was the extent of my waiting in line.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
And it was awesome. I mean, so if you get a chance, if PAX continues to do the Thursdays, you should absolutely go and watch them that way.
On Thursday, yeah.
Because it was amazing. I mean, I did an entire PAX. Again, I didn't do like the board game stuff, but I mean, if you're going to, I just want to see new games. I just want to, do that kind of thing. Like that is 100% the way to do it. I mean, it was unbelievable that way. So that was great. So I'll talk a little bit about some of the stuff that. So have you, before I get into that, have you guys been to PAX? Like, have you had good experiences at PAX? Have you had bad experiences at PAX in the past?
So I've been to, let's see, 2 PAXs. They were both in Seattle. The first one was amazing. It was when I was heavy into gaming website that I think we mentioned it, Destructoid, at some point. So it was cool seeing everybody that you talk to online, hanging out, having drinks, playing games. The second year, I'm not going to go into what happened because it's traumatizing. Yeah, I might tell you guys offline because it's really because I don't know who's watching. I don't know if this dude's still alive, but let's just say it involved shit
Oh no.
all over the walls. I'll just say that.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Yeah, it
There
was.
Oh no.
There was a
This is some
fecal
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas
situation.
type.
Okay.
It was intense. So that one not so much, but other than that, PAX itself is at the time it was like still growing. It was a great venue for gamers. I heard it was a little more crowded now, so I don't know how that would play out, but I enjoyed my time there.
Mine was so PAX Prime in 2016, and I went as press to Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
It was interesting because I mean I had mostly appointments, so I wasn't like on the show floor a whole lot. It was basically bouncing around from different either like developers will have either a little room to talk with press in, or they'll have an event where people get to try out. Say like I got to play a little bit of Final Fantasy 15.
Mm-hmm.
It was great, but the getting there and getting back was a total disaster. My flight from New York was supposed to go through Chicago and then San Francisco, ended up to Seattle. Well,
Damn.
At some point they decided that it wasn't going up to. There was no flight going from San Francisco to Seattle anymore.
Wow.
So half the people on the plane who were planning on going to Seattle were out of luck. Anyway, so I found a couple other people who were heading up there, and we rented a van and drove from San Francisco to Seattle. And if, like me, you're not really familiar with the size of the geography of the West Coast, San Francisco and Seattle are a long way away from each other.
Yeah.
So we drove like overnight. I think we got into San Francisco probably around 6:30.
Damn.
We were out of there probably 7:30 or 8, and then we pulled into SeaTac Airport probably 14 hours later.
Wow.
So I had time to get on my to drop my bags off at the hotel, and then just basically run over to my first appointment. I had to cancel a couple of them, but so I was kind of on my back feet, but I had a blast. It was so much fun. They had Final Fantasy 15 was coming out, and so Square Enix was all over the place. They'd gotten a bunch of Ubers and put chocobo feathers on the back of them. It was super dumb. Awesome. But like there's just, I mean, it was huge too. I mean, I really didn't realize the scale of it. So it has gotten pretty gigantic, I think, especially over the last few years. I had a good time. I really loved it.
It was crazy. Like, so I haven't been in many, many, many years to PAX. And I've been to PAX only to the PAX Prime or the one in Seattle, right? And
Right.
I went many, many years ago when I was really into Magic the Gathering. And, so I was playing Magic at PAX actually. And I had a great time back then, but it was not the show that it is now. I mean, it is huge. I mean, just every vendor in the universe, and it's 3 stories, and it was just like nuts.
Right.
So it's much
For games,
larger.
it's almost eclipsing E3. I feel
Yeah.
like it's a bigger deal for games than E3 is. Like, I mean, everybody's kind of bailing on E3.
It was crazy how big it was. I mean, I was so shocked and how much there was to see. I mean, the indie mega booth stuff was unreal. I saw a lot of that. I mean, that booth takes up. I would argue that the indie mega booth is maybe larger than like a lot of cons. Like it's so
It's
big.
enormous.
Like some small little cons. I mean, it is massive. They call it a booth, but it is like a huge percentage of the floor. I mean, it's
awesome.
got to be 30% of the floor at PAX. And it's just all of these indie games, and it was Kelly Wallach is just killing it with that thing. I mean, it is so big. She's the person that set it up, and it is just like crazy how many games are. I mean, you walk through there and you see games that you've never heard of, and I mean, just all kinds of quality stuff in there. I spent a lot of time at the indie mega booth, so So on Thursday, you know,
there's never enough time to see everything.
There's never enough time,
Yeah, of
but,
course
you know,
not.
but it was nice because it wasn't so wall to wall that I could just get to the games that I wanted to see. And I didn't feel rushed. You know, I didn't feel like I had to zoom through. So a couple of things that I did see there that I was super blown away by. And I'll just kind of go through them quick because I don't want to sit here and, you know, yammer on games forever. Or, well, I guess that's what we're here for. But
That's kind of what we're doing, yeah.
but games that maybe you guys haven't seen. So
Yeah.
I think for me, you know, so I saw the new version of Divinity, which is real cool, the console version that comes out in August. If you know whether you want that or not already, right? If you like that sort of RPG, like just buy that thing if you don't own it already.
So is there going to be a concurrent patch for the PC version?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
they're gonna patch the PC version, you know, as well. And most of this, I think all of that stuff will just sort of move over. I don't have like exact details of what is in the console version versus. We were seeing a preview build of it, and you're talking August, so things could change. So I saw that.
Well, that's pretty. They did with the first one too, I think. Like the enhanced edition came out, and that like updated everything. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So I saw that, and I highly recommend that game. I also, speaking of older games that I saw that were there, I saw the Dark Souls version for the Switch. Saw that at the Switch booth. That game is sweet. It is. I actually thought I wouldn't even notice them doing the graphic because when I saw video of the graphical stuff that they're doing to that game, I was like, you know, okay, sure. It looked real good on the Switch. Now, good.
Was it a mobile version you saw, or was it on the
So
TV?
they had it. No, they had it on TV, but they had both, and then they had it on. They gave you a Pro controller, and it controlled great.
Nice.
And I was super impressed with it. And it ran excellent. There was a guy next to me that was in Blighttown, and I don't know if you ever played Dark Souls originally. You would get into Blighttown, and the game would just like it was a slideshow. It was really bad. It would go down to like 15 frames per second. It was rough.
Jeez.
You know, it was.
Well, if you're a purist, I think you know you have to experience Blighttown in the way that its creator intended, which is in cinematic 12 frames per second.
You know, that part of the game
classic
real
cinema.
sucks, and I actually bounced off Dark Souls the first time in Blighttown because it was so frustrating.
Terrible.
Oh, wow.
It's so bad, and so I saw that it looked awesome. So if you're again, I think that's another game where like if you're gonna buy Dark Souls remastered, you kind of know you're gonna buy Dark Souls remastered on the Switch. Some people maybe just purchase Switch and they're looking for, you know, games to play on it. Like, you know, if you're into that, you know, some people waited forever to buy that console.
Yeah.
They were stubborn. Yeah.
What's that? What's that?
So-
That's a cool phone. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a large phone that you have. So for those listening to the podcast, that doesn't translate super well, but Ian just held up his Switch.
I do have a Switch now. I
Yay.
decided I was going to take the plunge.
Yeah.
But we can talk more about that in a little bit. Good, but yep, I'm very glad. That I'm the proud owner of a Nintendo Switch console.
That's awesome.
congrats.
Good for you. So
Welcome.
3 other things that I want to talk about, and then I'll leave PEX alone. So I played Dropmix again. It only took me I sat in a huge line of 5 minutes to play Dropmix because someone requested the promos, and he was like, "I gotta have them. And I was like, "Fine, I'll get your promos."
Tell me about Dropmix because this is something that I have kind of missed.
Yeah, so this is the thing that apparently it took Harmonix 4 years to make, right? So
Holy crap.
I was sort of like, what is this thing? I've never heard of it. I mean, I knew that they made a thing, but I had no idea what it was.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell you, Dropmix is pretty cool. All right.
Really?
Okay, so what it is so imagine like it kind of looks like a so if you were playing Hearthstone, right, and you had like the middle board right in front of you, and it had like 5 cards on it, right? So imagine that is now like in the real world, right? And it's like this thing that sits on the table and has 5 slots, okay?
Okay.
And so there's colors on the slot. So you have 5 card slots, you know, on this thing. And it's about, I don't know, it's about the size of a Switch, maybe a little longer, but it's real thick, okay? It's thick. And, you know, it's about as thick as maybe like a little thicker than like your TV remote. All right, so it's about as long as a Switch and about as thick. So it's this thing, and you set cards on top of it, and on the end, on one of the ends, is a slot where you put. They had an iPad in it. I think you could also put a phone in it, right? And then you plug in this thing into the headphone jack, and it like does things. It plays stuff. So all of your like display for the game is on the iPad or whatever device that you sort of set on the side. And then there's cards. It's a deck building game and the cards have chips in them, right? So there's cards in these chips, but the technology is like incredible. So the point so what Dropmix is it's a card versus game based around music, because obviously it's Harmonix, and each of the slots are different parts of the music. So you're making a song out of all of these cards, okay? And the cards you buy in like booster packs, kind of. There's tons of them, right? And it's ranging. I mean, they had like pop music, classic music. You had themes from TV shows and movies, and you have. So, for instance, like the promos that I got were the G.I. Joe theme song from the cartoon and a song from Pyre. So that's how wildly and it's real pop music too. It was like Bruno Mars and Diana Ross, I Will Survive, all kinds of just craziness, right? Mm-hmm. So what it does is when you put these cards onto the thing, it knows the card and it says, oh, this is the loop, this is the bass line, this is the key or whatever. I don't know anything about music. I'm an idiot. So, but you put these things in and it creates like this loop that goes forever. It'll just run. Mm-hmm. So to me, I was immediately like, wow, this is like the coolest party thing ever, because you just sit it there with like a million cards, because that's how they have it set up. So you walk up and they've got this dude and they've got this thing on the table with these cool Logitech speakers plugged into it that are color sensitive, right? So they change colors as they play according to the colors that you're putting on the thing. So the tech here is incredible, because so they have like a whole bunch of cards and you're putting them on here. And as you swap them out, the beat changes, the music changes, whatever. And then, but the coolest thing is like the pad that you're looking at it on, it knows if you put cards on top of the other cards, right? Mm-hmm. And it knows the order that they're in, right? So for instance, like there's deck building to it where, so you're sitting there and like you have to build a legal, you're playing against other players. So you'll sit there and he goes, look, it's really impressive how it works. And he just picks up, he literally like, so there's just cards all over the place when I walk over there. If you remember like your room back in the day when you would have magic cards all over something or Pokemon cards or whatever the cards were that you were into. And he would just scoops up like a whole handful of them, like right off the table, and he just drops like a whole stack of them onto one of the slots, right?
Okay.
And it tells him exactly how many of every card is in there.
Wow.
It knows is this a legal deck. It knows all of these things. So the tech is like unbelievable. I mean, it was just shocking to me how well it works. And it's
sounds
totally
like a
seamless.
space game. Yeah.
It blew me away, like how cool it was. I have no idea how the game plays. I got to be honest with you, because I mean,
I was about to say,
but I was so blown away by this thing that they had, and the way they were demoing it. Their booth was really clever because they had this DJ at the front of the booth, and he had the thing, so he has the Dropmix board, and he had a whole mixing setup, and he was doing an entire DJ set using only the Dropmix thing and like remixing stuff.
That sounds awesome.
It was fucking cool. Like
oh my god,
I had never seen it's expensive. Like I think
I was about to say it's pricey.
It's like $160, I think. Right?
Wow.
Yeah, it's not cheap, right? I want to say that's how much it was. I could be, misquoting, but I
don't know.
want to say
That
it was
sounds like such a good time though.
It
that
was
sounds
cool.
fun.
I mean, super cool. I was very impressed by all the every time this guy was like, watch this, and he would like put stuff on the thing and it knew and it would change immediately. I was like, this is the coolest thing to just have like 100 of these cards sitting there and let people just come up and like in a party and just like that's the music because it'll run forever on that loop.
That's what I was just going to ask. Like, is it something that you could play like have in a party situation? Like,
it's totally like this weird instrument, right? Like instead of having like every party, like every successful party mostly that I go to anymore has like some sort of music station where like somebody will come because somebody will be like, you know what, I want to hear something, and they once you have the impetus, some dude will go and be the DJ for a while and like fiddle around, and then he leaves, and then somebody eventually wanders over. The idea of having this thing like sitting there playing,
man,
I can see it.
All right, so I looked it up. I looked it up on Amazon because I'm intrigued. $60.
No shit, what? It's that cheap now.
So it's the board you were talking about.
Yeah,
60 different cards.
Okay, yeah. So, but MSRP originally was like $100 on the thing, right?
Yep. Exactly.
And then like there were kits and stuff. So
yeah, there's a bunch of kits.
And you need all of these cards. So I think to really like get going, because basically I asked the guy like, how much does it cost to like really get going? He was like, it's about $160. Yeah, but I think you can get started for $60.
You might have just spent $60 of my money.
Yeah, it might be
kind of neat. I gotta be honest with you, it was pretty freaking cool. I was pretty impressed.
Man.
So Dropmix is cool. Like,
all right.
So that's out now, huh?
Yeah. It's been out for a while. They made it.
I can get it tomorrow, apparently.
Yeah. I had never seen it before. Never. I knew that it existed, but I never actually like held it. I had no idea what it was. Man, that thing is cool. I hope people buy it.
How do the cards feel? Did they
really good? They feel just like a normal card. You can see very lightly where the chip is, right?
Nice.
But it's not like a big chunky thing. I mean, it feels just like a card. You can see the outline of where they put the chip in it, but it's fine. I mean, they're definitely not cheap by any means.
Yeah.
So Dropmix is cool. You should totally check it out.
I'm intrigued.
All right. Then I played like 3 games that are like bigger, I think. At least 2 of them are bigger, and one is kind of like a smaller thing, but you'll know the company that made it, right? So I'll start with the indie one. This was sort of the big game that I saw, and it was sort of in the outskirts of the indie mega booth. There's a game called Below.
Yes.
Oh, you got to play it?
I got to play Below in 4K. And
what?
It's running 4K 6. That game, I was super impressed with it. So Below is the next game from Cappy Games, and those are the guys that made Sword and Sorcery. Mm-hmm. That's the biggest game that I can think of. They made some other stuff too, but the one that I have played was Sword and Sorcery. And it reminds me of. Have you guys ever played Jotun or Titan Souls?
I've watched people play it, so
Titan
I know.
Souls I have. Yeah.
It reminds me a ton of Titan Souls. So it's really, you're basically like, so you're looking down. It's like a Zelda-esque sort of thing, where old school Zelda, where you're like looking at the guy, but he's really small, like really small on the screen, and the world is huge. And the thing that stood out here for me is like Titan Souls looked cool and had like unbelievable art, but there's a quality to the animation that, it's sort of like you tell it was indie, like it's pixely. It was awesome. The game is awesome, but this game, like that little guy had incredible animation. Like he's running through, there's the part that they put you in, like you're in the grass and like you run through like this field of grass, and all of the grass is like swaying in the wind, and it's parting as he runs through it. And you've got a lantern in your hand. And so there's all this like dynamic lighting that's happening off of this grass as it swings. That game looks cool. I just wandered around for like 10 minutes. I didn't fight anything.
Nice.
But I just walked around and was like so shocked by like how it looked when I swung the sword and like cut the grass. And that game looks cool. I mean,
and it's been in the pipeline for 4 years now.
Yeah,
I want to say like I just remember seeing it like at an E3 a while back. Yeah. But I mean, now I kind of you feel like it's making sense why it's.
I played it. It's real, and it is very pretty. It looks really cool. And it ran. This did not run like some sort of like beta. It looked. I mean, it was clearly running in 4K. On very nice TVs, and they had it set up, and it was great.
It's going to be ready when it's out.
Sounds like. So that thing's going to be ready. So then I played two big ones. I played Detroit Become Human. Okay. I got to play about 10 minutes of that game. It was a solid. I played through an entire sequence where. What felt kind of like a demo. Maybe this would be what they would release as a demo.
Right.
It's like so if you've never heard of Detroit Become Human, this is David Cage. David
Cage.
This is Heavy Rain, that sort of thing.
Indigo Prophecy.
Yeah. So you kind of I think this is one of those games you kind of know if you're into that kind of game or not. I like them. A lot of people don't. I get it. It looked incredible. It was the best looking game that I played.
What?
Yeah,
they always look fantastic.
Yeah, they do.
It was next level. The facial stuff, and I mean, all of his games always looked like Beyond Two Souls.
Yeah,
looked in. I think Beyond Two Souls is them as well, right?
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
Incredible. Just the facial stuff was unbelievable. They looked like real people, and so you're like this android, and you're like a hostage negotiator. So you're going around the demo that they put you in is this android has like gone awry. He's gone rogue. So in this future, you have androids that are like in people's houses or your butler. They kind of take care of your kids, whatever. And one of them has went nuts and like killed the family and is holding the daughter hostage.
Okay.
So you roll in and the apartment is just in shambles. It's like this high rise, and you're trying to put together the clues of what happened in the apartment. And then as you're doing that, you're increasing your percentage, and it's clearly every time you do something, it gives you a percentage of success, right? It says like this percentage of success. So you're walking around and you're trying to find clues so that you can eventually, that sort of builds to this crescendo of you talking to the android, who is very visibly upset, and he's basically on the outside. I think they've shown quite a bit of this, so I don't feel like I'm spoiling anything, but there's basically an android, and he's holding this little girl, and he's right on the edge of this super high rise, right? And he's got a gun on her, and it's just a very tense like hostage situation.
Man.
And you're trying to talk him down. That game, the mechanics are a little wonky, like the way you pick things. They're doing some weird things where like you sort of like some of their other games where it's like, oh, I want to pick this thing up, so I have to push down and then over, to pick it up. So it's got that kind of goofiness to it. It didn't get in the way that bad, but there was like 2 or 3 times it was like, can I just pick this thing up? It's doing a lot of Batman stuff where how Batman will like scan things and then reconstruct a crime scene in the Arkham games. There was a lot of that.
I was going to say on that control thing, a game I thought did that real well was Alien Isolation, where it it added this weird sense of physicality to what you were doing, like whether you were saving your game or opening a door or something like that. I think it's a neat idea. I don't know if it always works, but
it sort of worked. In once or twice it worked. 2 or 3 times I was like, this is weird. I wish I could just pick this thing up, right?
Man, I just remembered I played Heavy Rain with the damn Move controllers. Because that was an option. I wonder, they're probably not going to do that for this.
I don't know. This felt like there was pieces of this when I was doing it on the controller that I was thinking, man, this would be great with like a Vive.
Oh, man.
Or like a Switch. I mean, this game will clearly not come to Switch. I mean, not happening. The way that it looks.
Play it on potato mode on Switch. It'd be great.
I mean, but with that sort of motion control would totally work, right? It felt very motion control. He was like, push down, swipe over to the right, and like they're doing some interesting things with the touchpad,
Nice.
So like whenever he pulls up like a phone, when he pulls up a phone and you're touching. So no, at one point I pick up someone's like tablet in the apartment and he's swiping through things and I'm swiping on the pad.
That's kind of cool.
Which was kind of neat. Like I was like, okay, all right, I'm with this. I thought it was
very few games like have taken advantage of that DualShock feature.
Yeah. I thought it was awesome. I was super impressed by it. I was kind of blown away, to be honest. I think that game looks beautiful. his storytelling is what it is.
It sounds like it's his spin on Blade Runner a little bit.
Yeah. So it's very that, like, are we alive? You know, can I lie? Like, there's a lot of morality that the android kind of goes through because he's talking to another android and he's trying to talk him down, but he wants to save the girl, and and he makes.
Is it dialogue choices or?
It is, yeah. There's dialogue choices, and it has this huge, like, branching paths of, like, what could happen.
Right.
You know, that it shows you at the end, and it's like, here's all the, and it's just giant. There was, like, the scenario that I played had, like, I think 10 different ways that it could have went.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to play it. I'm looking forward to it as much as I talk shit about it.
Originally, when I saw that game, I was like, oh, here we go again, you know? But, man, every time, like, I've seen anything about that game, and now actually physically, like, playing it.
Right.
That game, there's tech in that game that is, you could tell they just threw money at that game.
Oh, yeah.
'Cause it is
for sure.
Beautiful.
Sometimes that's super fun, too. Like, just looking at money on the screen. Like, Ubisoft games are like that for me. Like, I picked up Assassin's Creed Origins, and, like, I just run around in photo mode.
Yeah, and you just look around and you're like, oh, that cost.
This was expensive. Yeah. Oh my god!
Holy moly! How much did it cost to make him, move that way? Yeah. But it was cool. I mean, I'm kind of looking forward to that one. And then, last but not least,
I'll be excited to hear about it from you guys.
Yeah,
for sure.
Last but not least, and this was my surprise game of the show that I'd never heard about before, but apparently a lot of people have. I played Phantom Doctrine, which is a game. I'm going to forget the name of the guys that made it. Hold on. It is by a company called Creative Forge, who made Hard West. That's the big game, the most recent thing that they made. So they made Hard West, and this is not Hard West. It is very different. It is... I mean, it is in that Hard West was like a tactical thing. This is sort of similar. This is Cold War XCOM. So it's alternate history Cold War XCOM. And their booth was super cool, right? It's this like bunker. And they had all of this like old timey radios, and, you felt like you were like an underground, rebel, working, and then so their computers were in there.
Trying to make it a checkpoint, Charlie.
Really neat, and so it is like a turn-based tactical thing, set in an alternate history where the Cold War is still happening. The storyline, I think they're kind of keeping sort of muddy on purpose, right? But you have very individual characters, unlike in XCOM, where you kind of have, they're soldiers, and you sort of, you have different classes, but they're not really that different. This was like, all of my characters were wildly different, every single one that I had, and I had probably 8 of them. A lot of interesting choices that they're making. There's not a to hit percentage like XCOM has. It's just you shoot a guy and it does X number of damage, right? Which was nice. That's one of my problems with XCOM is I feel like there's a bit of RNG there that I'm not super cool with, that I don't really like.
I mean, they tell you what it is, but it still feels unfair.
Yeah.
Like, that was a headshot. Kill him.
Yeah, when you're a foot away from the alien.
Exactly.
It's like 95% to hit, and you just like fire off in the sky. Yeah.
That's when you delete the game and move on.
I think that happens to a lot of people, actually.
That's what happened to me. I was like, we're done here? Bye.
Yeah. So
it's funny. I just heard a GDC talk by Jennifer Sherla, and she was talking about hidden game mechanics. And one of the things that she brought up is that if you tell players what the odds are, they expect different odds. Like if you show a player a 50-50%, like if you've got a 50-50% chance of success, players will expect to succeed 100% of the time.
Oh yeah. I was just about to say that's 90%. What are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. So you get 50-50 and you whiff, you're always going to be mad. So
for sure.
Anyway, but yeah, little side diversion.
Yeah, so it was
Anyway,
nice.
This does away with that altogether.
Does away with it altogether, and they've done a system kind of along the lines of you've got a dodge mechanic, but it's clear when they're going to dodge, right? Like, you know if they're going to dodge or not. So, like, sort of, and I got a little bit of the Into the Breach feel where I felt better about what was happening because I knew. I didn't know what they were going to do, right? But I knew if I move my guy here and I do this much damage, this guy is dead. And that was really nice. But they're also using, like, support characters. I also got you could feel them being influenced. And I'm sure this was in development before Metal Gear probably, but there was definitely some Metal Gear Solid 5 like feel to it where, so you have the support characters in Metal Gear Solid 5 and you kind of pick one, you have like the dog or, the horse or, Quiet or, however this works. And you would, so at certain points, if you're not familiar with Metal Gear, it's like a stealth, I think most people are, but it's a stealth thing and you go in and like try to fight dudes. Well, Quiet in Metal Gear 5, you call her in and she's a sniper and she'll just like kill dudes. So you have that. You have these support characters that you can use in Phantom Doctrine. So you have a sniper guy. You also have a guy with a grenade launcher who looks, he's just this dude and he's just like, punk, it's funny because it's a little cutscene. He's not actually on screen. So you can kind of pick at the beginning of the mission, like, I want these guys actually on the map, but then I want these guys, my support characters, not on the map because I want to be able to just snipe a guy at certain points. And you have to choose like the sides that you put them on as well.
Nice.
So you go, I have a sniper
like
over there.
off-map artillery. Yeah, sure.
Yep.
Sure.
So, and there's, the mission that I was on, I was trying to like get this guy, and there's side missions within the mission. So it was like I'm storming a building, and I have two agents that are inside that are already cover. So they've like infiltrated the restaurant, and so it's a big restaurant and with a hotel in it. And so I've got two people in the kitchen who are undercover, and then I've got, guys like storming the building, and I'm trying to get a hostage out of the basement and then capture this dude without killing him.
Jeez.
It's a lot to take in. Like, this is going to be one of those games. You like look it up in Steam. It's called Phantom Doctrine.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
it is. It was so much fun to play it, and I was literally like my time with the game ended, and I was like, I just want to play more of it. Very pumped, and then a whole base building aspect to it as well, like XCOM, where you're trying to build up your guys, and I love that stuff. And man, it hit home for me. I don't know. Again, I have to try it in the comfort of my own, but in the like bunker that I was in, which is what their booth was, and I'm
awesome.
Like playing it, and the it's raining, and it was neat. That game looks
cool.
It looks amazing, and they were super excited to show it to me. So that was sort of my PAX experience, and then there were a lot of things that happened at PAX that I can't really go into.
Honestly, no. Like, how was the off the show floor?
It was.
Everybody parties after PAX.
Yeah,
so.
it was a wild.
You can't.
It was a wild party. Oh, so I also went to two panels while I was at PAX. I went to one about streaming and the reality of what it is to be a full-time Twitch streamer, moderated by the wonderful Susan Arendt, who is just such a cool person and hilarious, and a great person to moderate that sort of panel, because she is not a streamer, right? She's the most like sort of stalwart game journalist person, and so you've got her up there, and she's not on the younger side of, she's our age, right? Like, so she's up there.
She's old guard when it comes to
she's up there, and it's all these like kids. Like I think one of the girls actually, when I was in the workforce, so it's 4 streamers that they're talking to, and one of them, I was in the workforce before this person was born.
Wow.
And now she has this huge audience on Twitch.
How was the panel?
It was great. It was fantastic. So it had Garrett from Loading Ready Run. So he was talking about, and then his sister, Kate Stark, who was excellent. And then a wonderful girl named is her name on Twitch.
That's an awesome name.
It was a great name, and it was
Yeah.
I sort of hit most with her because she's the like grinder of the group, where all of them
Yeah.
are like, yeah, I got partnered almost immediately, and another one was like,
Yeah.
I got partnered in 2 months, and she's like,
Wow.
it took me like 2 years, or I mean,
Yeah.
I streamed 10
Nice.
hours a day, I mean, she just busted her ass and made it happen,
awesome.
and I was and she does a bunch of work for St. Jude, and it was cool to see that. And then the other panel that I went to that was really surprising was I went to a panel about breaking down barriers in the gaming industry. It was a dev geared panel. Felt like something you would go to at GDC, right?
Right.
Sure.
But the cast was amazing. It was so I'm gonna try to remember everybody that was on this panel. So it was so it's moderated by Chris Remo from Idle Thumbs.
Awesome.
Which is already that's actually why I was there, to be honest. Exactly. I was just bowing down in awe of his podcastery, right? And then I believe the co-founder of Devolver was there. I feel bad I can't remember his name. But he
Not
was
Fort Parker.
no, the other guy, but I can't think of his
The guy who
name.
exists.
I
Right.
can't think of his name. He was super, engaging and awesome. So I saw that. It was Kelly Wallach from the Indie Mega booth was there. A gentleman that was, and I feel bad I'm forgetting names now, but a gentleman that was part of one of the first developers in Mexico to publish a game on all of the platforms at once. He just recently done it. The game. He had a big long talk about his experience, sort of setting up, in Mexico and like what the game industry is like there. And man, like it's tough for a game developer in Mexico because
Sure. I mean, you probably don't have a lot of the infrastructure and support network that you'd have if you're, starting in Austin or the Bay Area or something like that. I mean, it's all right off the shelf there.
Yeah, that, and apparently there's this sort of subculture in Mexico where they don't like things, like if you live in Mexico, you don't like things that are from Mexico. Like there's sort of this sort of self-hatred weirdness that he talked at length about, and these are his words, not mine, obviously. That was, kind of a bummer. And then two other great, the founder of Kit Fox, who's making that cool boyfriend dungeon game, which is a crazy, hilarious looking game where you date your weapons.
All right.
Yeah. And then one more woman, I feel so bad. I can't remember her name, but she's like a game jam person. She self-identified as like the first woman game jammer in San Francisco. And it was just an incredible panel, but it was crazy because so you have all these like heavy hitters of the industry, and there was literally 20 people there.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Shame.
So
were there some like key takeaways that you thought they came up with?
yeah. So okay. So thankfully, Kryptonite. While I'm fumbling along, forgetting everybody's name, he does. So it was Kelly Wallach from Mega Booth, Nigel Lowry from Devolver, Edgar Serrano from Lienzo, Chris Remo, Robin Hunicki, and Tanya X. Short.
Okay.
And it was incredible. So I sit down, and right in front of me is Dave Lang, right?
Oh,
so he's literally like
that's
right,
unfortunate.
right in front, and he's large. So I actually had
I'm
to
jealous.
See the stage.
I had to move over a seat because
so jealous.
he was. I mean, that man is a
I'm so
mountain.
jealous.
A mountain of a man. Like I did not realize how large he was. Like not like
Yeah, you
large,
really
like
do.
overweight. Like he's just
Is
huge.
he like 6'5", 6'6",
He is
or something?
very big, and he was wearing
Man.
a Chicago, like I think it was a Chicago Bulls. I know he had Chicago Bulls shoes on,
Oh, yeah,
but he also had a
of course.
white sweatshirt that matched his bright white tennis shoes,
Man,
and he was just like a cartoon character. It was so cool to see him. I couldn't believe. I was like, wait, that's Dave Lang sitting around, and there was literally 20 people in the room. It's like
That's
20
crazy.
people watching this panel, and I was just blown away. Like, it was so quality. It was such a great panel, and it was really fun to watch. They were talking about how, the internet sucks, and you have to be leaders to make it not suck, and don't work with assholes and refuse to accept it. And
Yeah, that sounds about right.
it was cool. It was a great time, and much partying was had. But I feel like all I've done is talk about PAX the entire cast, so I feel kind of bad.
I wish I was there, man. That sounded great.
It was awesome.
I think like I was always like I was just excited to hear about this for the last couple of weeks, just because my own experience with PAX was just so affirming of like choosing this as a career field to work in. Like it can be a drag if you're by yourself sometimes, and it's like, what am I doing? But going and seeing stuff like that is really just kind of a shot in the arm.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Personally, I just feel like it just makes all right, yeah.
It definitely, as a
can
content,
be really good.
Yeah, as a content creator, it really hit me where it was like, this is a real thing that people do. It is not just some pipe dream. It is not, and it really makes you want to make better and better content, right? Because
Nice.
they are doing their damnedest to make great content for you. Those people are
Right.
getting up there on those panels, and they're giving it all. And Kelly Walk was up there saying that, like, I made Indie Mega Booth because I didn't want to work with assholes anymore. And I was just like, man, right in the feels. It hit home, and you just said, man, like, these people are really making it work, and it was very inspiring. So PAX is a good time. You should go. For all those people out there, if you're ever wondering, should I go to PAX, just absolutely go. It's worth every single penny that you could spend. So yeah, that was PAX. So what have you guys been up to? I'm out of breath here. What have you guys been doing?
Grab a glass of water, or
carry the podcast.
Need to hydrate.
Yeah, let me get hydrated in here.
What's up, Jermaine? I think you got the newsier.
So was it last night when this amazing game got released? I think we'll get to it in news, like the whole unveiling of this game. But I jumped into Radical Heights last night with a couple buddies. Streamed about an hour of it. So I think they came out and said they put about 5 months of work into it, and you can tell. And I'm not gonna bash it because it's extreme early access or whatever tag they gave it.
Mm-hmm.
There is something there, like.
So this is Boss Key's new entry into the Battle Royale.
Exactly.
Yeah. So give me the run, because I saw this game for maybe 5 minutes yesterday. And then I was nonsense? Like, what the heck is this nonsense?
Yeah.
And then I stopped. And then today I see 15 articles about this game, and with various levels of Fortnite has nothing to fear, everything is fine,
right.
To people saying how much they love it. What the heck is this thing?
I am directly in the middle. So the game is definitely, they looked at PUBG, they looked at Fortnite, and we're like, we can do that. So they put out this game. It's very 80s centric. It feels like an 80s cartoon.
It's like music, PUBG Double Dare, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you can prizes. It's like a
game.
TV show mixed with, it's like what's the game? Smash TV with Double Dare with PUBG. You can find guns laying around like you can in PUBG, or you can buy them out of a vending machine with the cash you find laying around. It's just so much stuff going on at once. I played about 5 matches with a couple buddies, and like, we had fun while we played it. But I'm definitely going to wait 6 months, maybe 8 months for them to get some of the polish in. Even some rooms didn't have any textures on them. The weapons look like they just dropped them in from Unity, and we're like, all right, here's a gun, boom, let's go.
Yeah.
The physics are all over the place, but it's goofy fun. Like, I enjoyed my time with it.
Good. Yeah.
I think, the only thing that's kind of weird is there's already a founders pack. I think it's like $15. Give $15. I don't know exactly what you get because I refuse to give them money right now.
So it is free. It is free to play now. It's totally.
It's definitely free to play
okay,
right now, and it's definitely on Steam. I encourage everyone to at least go check it out. It feels more like PUBG in the sense that it's the shooting mechanics, more than, and you can crouch, you can crawl, all that fun stuff. The map is probably Fortnite size, except for they do this weird thing where they, at the beginning of the map, there are parts of the level that are already, you can't go over there or you're going to start draining your health. I don't think there's a concept of a circle. At least I didn't stay alive long enough to see one. It's like, here's this gridded off section, go have fun. So I want to see what they do with that. Jumping into the game, there's no airplane. You just fall out of the sky, hit the ground, and you're running. There's no parachute. You just go.
The most hilarious thing that I think I've seen, like, there's no parachute and there's no fall
so
damage.
good.
So you're coming down like in PUBG.
Yep.
And you just face plant on the ground at full, like at
Okay, that's pretty good, right?
Yeah. Like the whole time I'm sitting there, I'm like, A, B, X, Y. Where's my parachute? Where's my parachute? And then he just hits the ground, does a little roll, and keeps on going. I'm like, all right.
And everybody got like American Gladiator suits on.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
There's an Ultimate Warrior face paint that you can put on that I want. I want that. It definitely has character, and like I said, I can't wait 6 months down the line. We'll see what they do with it. Hopefully, it has some legs and they can get behind it. But I'm definitely more interested in this than I was in Lawbreakers. So they did something right.
Right. So
this
is Cliffy
exactly
B, right?
The same mistake. Yeah.
This is all. Well, I'm pretty sure
he's not. I think he's got somebody else directing it, but it's his studio doing it.
Yeah, it's his studio, and it's all of them. I think they're putting it out, all the development. So,
but it does feel like it's the same mistake that Lawbreakers made, right? Which is to launch into an overcrowded market.
Yep.
It's like they're going to directly compete with the biggest games out right now. And with Lawbreakers, it was Overwatch.
I forgot about
and now
that
they're going to compete with PUBG and Fortnite.
Yeah.
It just seems like,
what?
It's just not a great strategy to be also ran.
Yeah, especially with a game that you need 100 players for it to work how it's supposed to work.
Right.
Like, I don't know how long. Like right now, everybody, it was like number 3 or 4 on Twitch yesterday. So,
well, yeah, it's the new thing. So
It's
exactly.
free.
We'll see how long that lasts.
Right, it's free, so like everybody can touch it and play it.
Exactly.
And they after Lawbreakers, they need a win real bad. And I don't know if this is the strategy that they wanted to go with, but I mean they slapped it together in 5 months. So I don't know. Maybe that's what they needed to do.
Yeah, I mean, I've read I've read probably 3 articles about this thing, and every single one of them was just like, it's real bad.
It is.
Ars Technica like trashed it. Forbes like trashed it.
No,
PC Gamer was like, ooh, I mean,
they're so enthusiastic about it too. They're like, hey, our game's out. It's free to play. It's gonna be great. And they're like,
extreme.
I watched the Game Informer guys. I watched the Game Informer guys play it a little bit, and I think it was Kyle Hilliard, Dantak, and Leo Vader, and they acknowledged the fact that it is janky as hell and not finished and broken and weird, but they were laughing a lot and having a good time.
Yeah,
as well. So I mean, I don't know. And then other than the fact you just face plant out of the plane or when you drop in, that's hilarious. There's trampolines that you can jump on.
Oh yeah, the trampolines.
I literally laughed out loud when I saw on the stream, someone pulled out some gigantic Dirty Harry revolver that had some really stupid giant Tango and Cash scope on it. I was like, all right,
all right, I'm kind of in.
Stuff in here. Yeah.
I'm kind of in for that. You know what? I think that the genre, the idea of a 80s-ish Smash TV battle royale game. That's kind of interesting to me. So if they can get it together and make it work, I don't know.
I'll give it the benefit of the doubt for now.
But watching people play it where they're just constantly rolling around, it just
I mean, yeah.
It looks early.
Paragon or Paladins. They're coming out with the battle royale pretty soon too.
Oh, come on.
It's.
I would just wait till E3. I guarantee you, there's at least 3 to 4 battle royale games going to get announced.
Oh, there's a whole bunch.
I've started trying to play Escape from Tarkov, which is a bit different, but there's that. Then there's the Metro.
Oh, they're doing one?
I think, or it's them or the guys who made Stalker are making one.
It's probably Stalker.
Because the Metro Survive is coming out soon. But yeah, like it's gonna be ugly for the next little bit because none of these things are gonna make their money back. It's gonna be sad. But,
and they're all trying to rush, right? Like they're trying to be like real quick.
We got to be out there now, and I feel like
strike while the
iron's
iron's
fired
hot
on this one.
Yeah. It's kind of like how WoW, when they were running the world and everybody's tried to put out an MMO, they were like, "Oh, we could do a paid subscription MMO; it'll be great." And like, how many of those still alive? Like, WoW.
WoW.
Yeah.
So that thing is funny.
It's fun.
It's worth giving it a go. Maybe we should take a look at that thing and play it.
Let's make it happen.
Also, play some squad.
Right now, squad is not up. You can only do duos, and that's another weird thing. I'm not gonna talk shit about it, but the friend request system is all sorts of fucked right now. So hopefully the next patch fixes that, and hopefully they turn on squad so we can actually do some 4-on-4 action. But right now it's just solo and duos.
Well, I mean, remember they only had 5 months to make it, so you gotta prioritize here, right?
Exactly. I'm impressed with
5 months was long enough to put BMX bikes in it, but not to get the physics right because you can that's busted as hell. Also hilarious.
That is another thing. Like it was like if they can recreate a DMX or a Dave Mura's BMX in this game, I'll just play that. I don't need to shoot anybody. I'll just do tricks and I'll be happy. But it sucks right now. So.
You know what? I gotta be honest though, when PUBG first came out, there was a lot of jank in it.
It was super broken.
I kind of liked that feeling of it being sort of broken.
Really?
I kind of liked how broken it felt. Like where it was, this is kind of really not good. The way the vehicles still interact with each other is still just stupid in PUBG.
Dumb, but that's part of the game now.
But it's kind of like
like an Arma 2 mod.
If they strategy.
If they fixed it, I kind of would be sad. So I wonder if maybe this has that sort of way to it.
You got to play and let me know because I don't think it has that jank feel. It has like a bad touch jank feel. Don't come on.
It's got
this part over here is cool.
Less the joyful, like
more frustrating.
I found this weird thing on the internet.
Yeah. Exactly.
99-cent asset swap situation on Steam. Yeah, it feels like that. That's a bummer.
Yeah, that's less good.
That's too bad.
Well,
what else?
Well, that was it for me. I played a bunch. Oh, I guess I did play Overwatch, didn't I?
Yeah, that was actually what I meant because that's the new event that's.
Yeah,
we just talked about this.
Overwatch Retribution.
Yeah, the archive event.
Yeah,
whatever that's called. Yeah,
it's real fun. Like I wish they would do more single player. I guess it's not single player co-op oriented storylines like this. It was. I said it last night on stream. It was the most fun campaign. Like it's been better than the last 2 or 3 Call of Duties I've played, and it was literally like an hour, maybe that. Like it was cool. It was just fun. I think it's because of those characters. You can only play as 4 characters, and I'm not even gonna try to name them because I can't remember the names. It's been that long since I played it. It was just fun. Like 3 of us was in there, and I was playing characters I've never touched before. Moira, I think, is one of the newish characters. Yeah, she's a blast.
It's Moira, Genji, like the ninja guy, McCree, and Reaper.
Yeah, it was fun. Like working together to take down these enemies. They had some big boss encounters. A little bit of story sprinkled in. It was funny. I enjoyed it. So I'm gonna probably play that. We played it all in normal, which was pretty. It was pretty much a cakewalk after we realized what we were doing. So we're probably gonna bump it up to either hard or expert. Try our luck at that. But those new skins are nice.
They are. They always make cool skins.
Yeah, they've been killing that.
So it's PvE. That's really interesting that they would.
It's really good. Like I'm surprised how good it is.
They've done a couple of those. I mean, like for Halloween, there was Dr. Junkenstein's Revenge.
Yeah, that's true.
There's probably been other ones that I just haven't been into the Overwatch scene for quite a while, but you know, I like that stuff.
I'm glad that
I should probably
Overwatch
check this out,
exists
yeah.
and that people.
Yeah, me
like it.
too.
yeah.
It just
You know?
feels good. Like playing it, I was like, oh yeah, I was obsessed with this game for the first like 2 months. And it's cool now because I think there's what 5 new characters that I've never even seen that I get to play with now. So I'll probably be playing a lot more of that in the near future until God of War comes out. Because God of War,
That game
Yeah.
looks good.
it's gonna be good. Wait, was that at PAX or no?
No, but you know what? It may have been, and I didn't see it. But there are people playing that game on Twitch
On
right
stream?
now.
Are
Yeah.
you serious?
Co Carnage played that game today.
Wow.
He was playing it on stream, and that game. When does it come out? It's later this month,
The
right?
20th,
Yeah,
April 20th.
he
Yep.
was playing
yeah,
it
we're
straight
coming
up on stream. Like it was not.
Yeah.
He was playing Far Cry
Yeah.
5 before it came out too.
Huh.
So I mean, it's good to be a streamer right now. Because
Yeah,
it
that's
just
some good marketing there.
play this thing.
Better to be a streamer than a member of the press.
Exactly right. You can review. You know, I mean, he's played God of War before. Eddie. I'd assume some press outlets have God of War by now, right? But
Oh yeah, I think reviews come out tonight. The embargo's up.
I think you're right. Yep.
yeah.
So
Which is a good sign. I mean, if they've
Oh, yeah.
given press copies out already, that means they're pretty confident about how
Exactly.
it's going to
It sure looked good from what I saw of it.
It looks fantastic.
Yeah, it looked
Yep.
real good.
Man.
It's going to be different. So
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Like it'll probably be lightning around a little bit, but
Yep.
I think it has to be different, right? If it
Oh, yeah,
wasn't,
I couldn't-
it'd
Yeah.
be like,
after
I don't think you
3,
make
I
that-
was done with that. And then they put out Ascension. I didn't even attempt to play that.
I don't think and that game that format doesn't really work now. I don't
No,
think.
unless you're
So
Bayonetta. That's still good, right?
that's still well,
It's
I
not the
guess
same though. So
it's kind of yeah.
it's a little
Although-
stylishy. You know, it's
Yeah.
got a little more of that anime to it.
that's true.
Yeah.
Plus yeah.
But yeah, that's it. That's the games I tackled this week. That and Hearthstone, but we're not going to talk about Hearthstone.
Still into that. Pretty heavy.
Yeah, I dropped some money on. Not a lot. I dropped $5 on the welcome pack just because everyone said if you're gonna spend money, get that. And I was like, all right, I feel better about myself.
I mean,
Was it,
$5 is not that bad, buddy.
Yeah,
Like
right.
did you feel ripped off, or was that like pretty much what you?
And what I got, it made me happy. I'll just say that. I was like, oh, I can make this pack now.
Mhm.
Play a different character. I got a legendary for one of my classes. They did well with that welcome
Yeah,
pack.
here's a little taste. Just
Yep,
a little-
exactly. I'm afraid.
Yeah, it feels
I'm
good to
afraid.
open it. It feels good
Yeah,
to just
man.
push the
Look
button.
at these
up.
animations.
Look at the pack open.
I think
Doesn't
they
that
gave
feel
you
good?
5 packs, and so I opened one on my iPhone, I opened one on my iPad, and I opened one on the PC just to see what the different
A little
animations were.
different. Yeah.
it
PC's
feels
the
good.
best.
Feels good, doesn't it?
Oh
Feels
my
good to
God.
watch it go pew.
Yeah, pew! And then they like slowly
Oh.
turned it around, epic. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't
You gotta
even know
click
what
on
to
every.
shake.
You gotta click on every card,
Oh,
and then
man.
when you flip the legendary one, it's an explosion. And
Yeah, it
feels
really
good,
evil.
doesn't it? Yeah,
Super evil.
It's
And the new expansion comes out tomorrow, I believe.
no, it's in a month, I think.
Is it? Oh, good.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ignore that game for
Which
it's good
would
though. I love it. Yeah.
That's right. Which would? Yep.
Mhm.
I was trying to remember the name, and it
Oh
was
no, you're
Moss
right. It
something.
is tomorrow. You're right.
Oh,
I'm wrong.
damn it!
I'm an idiot.
no.
No.
All right.
tomorrow.
Well, you could have
Oh, well,
kept
you're
that to
right.
yourself.
Well,
And
Jermaine, it's been nice to know you.
yeah, I'll see you guys.
You know how much you could get 70 packs for $50.
No, this close.
If
Last
you
night.
pre-launch it, you still have
Yeah,
time.
that's fucked up, dude.
It's
So
not
here's
over.
the evil shit. On the iPhone, like all it would have been is a
Man.
thumbprint, just bloop, and it would have been in my. I would have had it, but I was like, you know what?
It's linked to. You don't even have to type in the credit card. You
I
just,
know.
Just say yes. Just hit the button.
Blizzard.
Think
We
of
have,
how
like, a
much.
little port in our foreheads that you can just
Oh,
plug
yeah.
the game into.
Think
Yeah,
of
just
how
like-
many
Oh, I
packs.
kind of want that, and then they just take your money, and it's fine.
Remember
That's
how
a lot
good
of
it felt to
packs.
open those 5? What
It
if you
would be
could do that
amazing to open
12 more
70.
times?
Yeah. That I would do.
This is some kind of like messed up Milgram experiment at this point.
Right?
It's
I'm just
terrible.
gonna have a stream of me opening like 100 packs. I'm like, I don't know what happened, but it feels so good.
I mean, that's what people do, right? They
I know.
I mean, they do it
I
for magic
may
cards
have-
too.
I may have watched one of those streams because I just wanted to know. I just wanted to.
What's it
This is a
like?
dark hole I'm going down.
What's it like
I
to
need to
open
stop.
70 Hearthstone packs at once? It probably feels
need to
real
stop.
good.
My brother-in-law is not a gamer at all, but he's obsessed with soccer. What's the I'm trying to think.
FIFA.
Oh, FIFA.
Yeah, FIFA and watching card
yeah.
packs. He loves. He doesn't play the game. I think he's got a 360 or something like that. So he plays whatever version there's of that. But he'll go and sit on YouTube and watch kids open packs of FIFA cards. I don't understand.
I gotta be honest with you. You know what? Just literally a day or two ago, I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, somebody followed me on Twitter, and their YouTube channel was I don't know if I followed them. I can't remember how that. Maybe they got retweeted onto my timeline. I think that's what it was. And their YouTube channel was them opening Pokemon card packs.
Oh wow!
Right, and gotcha, the gotcha boxes from but they have those for Pokemon where you like order a pack and you get a whole bunch of little Pokemon.
That sounds dangerous.
And I watched this girl open Pokemon packs and these gotcha boxes for a good 30 minutes yesterday.
Oh no! What?
And I realized, and then I looked up and I was like, "What? Where am I? What just happened?"
That's awesome.
It's some like
good
weird
content.
capitalist version of ASM.
Yeah. And I had to message her. I sent her a message on Twitter, and I was like, I don't know why. I just watched 30 minutes of your content, but it's good. Like,
Oh man!
I don't know. Like, I don't get it. I mean, how do you not have a million? How do people not watch this and get super hooked?
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's weird, man. Like,
Maybe
something
you
about
just
watching
need-
people open shit. I don't know.
You just need one. You just watch it one time, and you're like, "All right, I'm good for like 6 months."
Oh,
Yeah.
you say
But
that.
what
I
if
could quit
you could
anytime.
be the one?
Anytime.
All right, man. I'm not. All right, where's my phone? No.
$49.99. That's not
Yeah.
even $50.
Honey, what's this $49.99 charge? Don't ask. Don't. I
It's
can't.
groceries. It was definitely essential
man.
groceries.
That's less
Yeah,
than a new
groceries.
game.
What's Blizzard? It's ice cream, and I was
Yeah.
really hungry, and I'm sorry.
That's how they get you.
Just go downstairs.
If God of War wasn't coming out, I probably would have did it. But I know I'm gonna ignore all other games for however long it takes me to beat God of War. So
Yeah, it looks real good.
yeah,
What else? So you got a Switch.
Switch.
I did get a Switch. Yep, it's right here. It's beautiful. little
He's
Switch.
holding it again. I think he just like has it in a pocket. You know,
I,
like
I
maybe,
brought it. Yeah, it's right under my my monitor.
I like to think that Ian like wears Jinko jeans all the time
Oh,
with a giant
Jinkos.
pocket, and
They
he just puts it right in the side and carries it around.
I got them specially made. They go right up to my nipples. You can't see them. I can't. But
That's a good look.
so then it just goes down from there and out.
I
So
gotta
it's
see.
like-
Do they?
so it
still
looks like
sell
it's like the
Jinkos?
top, my arms and head coming out of a traffic cone.
Oh my god, they still make Jinkos.
I think they do actually.
They're $84. I don't want them that bad.
They were
Jeez.
$84
Yeah.
20 years ago, man. Like,
That's too much for a joke.
man.
I don't know how that worked, but yeah, they were popular. Yeah,
Let's
Jinkos.
get off the
Aside.
Jinkos. Leave them. I'm
my God.
I think
sorry.
we talked about this, but that late '90s, early 2000s, rough period.
Rough.
culturally
There was
for
some
the United
very
States.
rough.
Some
Yeah.
bad
We gotta
stuff
forget
about
that.
what was
Let
going
that die.
on. You know. So
But yeah,
all right. So Switch.
I went and bought a Switch. I really
Yep.
like it. This is retread of this time exactly last year when everybody's kind of getting blown away by it. But all that stuff is true. I really think it's an amazing little device. I got the Switch and Breath of the Wild. So I
Nice.
started playing that, which is a beautiful game. Again, it just blows me away that I can hold it in my hands. Playing
Yes.
a game that complicated,
Yeah.
and beautiful, while I'm like lying in bed at 11 a.m. Yeah. So again, this has all been sort of covered in depth over the past year.
Uh-huh.
The only thing that I'm not super crazy about are the controllers. I'm not a big fan of the Joy-Cons because I have like large, stupid caveman
Yeah.
grubbers, and they
Same
don't
here.
work super great
Same
with those.
problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
So a pro controller is probably in my future.
Well worth it.
Yeah,
Agreed.
and yeah, I'm real happy with how seamlessly it plugs into the TV, and it looks great on a 65-inch LED.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool.
Man.
But yeah, super happy. I'm still kind of getting used to the fact that it'll throw like motion controls at you every once in a while. Like, I don't expect that. So like with the aiming and the camera and some of the puzzles and the shrines, like all of a sudden, oh wait, my relative, there's an accelerometer going on here.
Right.
Yeah, that's a little weird, but honestly, like I didn't think I was going to like that, but it works better than I thought it would too. So, it hasn't made me as mad as I thought it would.
How far in the Zelda are you?
Not far. I've been screwing around a lot, and plus I've been busy this past couple of weeks. I haven't been able to sit down and just like jump into it. So,
Right.
Where am I? I haven't done any of the beasts yet, but I think I'm about to take on my first one.
Nice.
So I had to figure out what I want to do with that. But I'm just about ready to take on Divine Beast, I think.
Yep, that's them.
So,
cool.
So good stuff.
That game is so good.
Yeah.
The other thing that I really love about it is just that if you think you can do something, you probably can. Like,
that's trippy.
Yeah, like it'll just probably work. Like, what if I threw a bomb into that tree and blew it up? Then all the apples fall out, and that's exactly what happens. Like,
exactly.
It's just, there's weird. It's just incredible that they've made a system of physics and objects that interact so well. Like everything has. I don't know how they did it. If it was a system of attributes that, but whatever. Everything works with each other and knows what each other is, basically.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there's very surprising, delightful things that can kind of happen on the fly that the game kind of creates, just because you're kind of bouncing around in it. I think that's really cool.
That game is
which is very unlike another Zelda game. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really good.
And the other thing with it, like anybody who played that game when it came out and then didn't think it was the best game made that year, just either didn't actually play it or has no soul, because that game is
or played Horizon Zero Dawn. Anyways, what's the next?
Or Divinity Original Sin 2.
Yeah. What's that?
So the one
look,
thing
I love that game. Yes, that year was so insane. Like, what the heck? Like, God, that
did Mario come out that year? What are we doing?
What the hell? What happened? Like,
I don't know.
So many good games came.
We got spoiled. This year's gonna suck.
But 2016 was really good too. Anyway, but I really kind of thought, when I knew it was going to be a Game of the Year contender, just because I have this kind of PC cynicism about Nintendo products where they just get graded on a curve because they're Nintendo. Turns out they're actually really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Zelda's real good, and
Zelda's very good.
And they didn't play it safe at all. They went
Mm.
ways that they didn't have to. It is not a forgiving game. It's actually it's very hard. And
I walked into that game thinking, like, this is going to be a dumb game for babies. I just promptly got my ass handed to me.
them gobos, those hobgoblins will club you like a seal. They will just.
Oh, and they look so happy about it when they do it too. They're just
And then Link just like. Like he's on the ground, or when you
that sad ass music plays, and like,
he really looks like in any skateboard wipeout video that you've seen. He looks like that.
Yeah,
like
he just
if some 14-year-old tries to grind a rail down a set of stairs and falls off, it looks horrible. Exactly like what happens.
I mean, he's just like broken and bleeding in so many different ways. Like, it's so terrible.
Poor Zelda.
So
there's poor Zelda.
Shot you, no joke. So, no, I have been chastened and humbled by
that game is good.
Breath of the Wild. It's very good. Yep. And the other old game that I've been playing is Dying Light. Went back to that because they released a whole new set of content for that, which is now a 3-year-old game. And
isn't it wild that game is that? It's 2014, right? Is it 2014 or 2015?
I think 2015, but I could be wrong. It may be 2014. February 2015, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, but it's over 3 years old, and it's still getting a ton of support from Techland. So, but that's a very, very good game. And one of the things, again, sort of like Breath of the Wild, I mean, they're thematically fairly different, but it's more about like, who cares about the story? The story's dumb. It doesn't, like, you don't really care about it that much.
Right.
But I think I watched a great commentary on it by Noah Gervais, and he kind of talked about how the game is about going from place to place, and it never like it always makes that interesting. So you don't necessarily want to be fast traveling, even though you can. No, you can't. There's no fast travel, except between different zones.
Mm-hmm.
I think once you get to the following, there's fast travel, but in the main city of Haran, it's infested with zombies. You're doing parkour, which kind of feels clumsy, but it works. I mean, like I think it feels clumsy like it should. You're kind of hurling your body against, shacks and corrugated roofs and and rail cars and things, and it feels a little bit imprecise in the way that I think that it probably would actually feel to be running around like that. And so you're kind of just given a bunch of interesting encounters on your way to wherever you're going, and you're never able to kind of put it on autopilot. And I don't know. I've been really impressed going back into that and kind of poking around. It's hard. Another difficult game that, it starts off pretty rough, and then it changes as soon as you find firearms. That kind of makes a radical shift in the way that you play. But
the difficulty curve of that game is wildly inconsistent.
It's very weird.
Which is one of my probably few criticisms of that game, is that at the beginning it is damn near impossible before you understand like how it works, and then you will be playing it and you will bump into other humans who are, until you figure out how to kill them, are damn near impossible to kill. But it's weird because the game actually gets easier the longer you play it, because you're getting like sort of persistent skills, and it
Right.
the difficulty difficulty basically falls off a cliff, and it's just breeze through most of it.
And it is this combination of the skills that you're unlocking through the tree, but also your own fluency in the rhythm. I think that it's creating for you, and I think it's great. It's a good one.
I love that game. Also, there are very few games that make the sense of, their scary moments, like their intensity moments, work as well as that game does. When it is nighttime in that game and you are being hunted by the things, it is very intense and very scary. And it's open world too, so that's hard to do with like that open. Something like Amnesia or something like that. It's a little easier. Or like Alien Isolation, like they have a set and like you're trapped in this set and they can make you go the way they want it to go, But Dying Light, it does it sort of organically, which always impressed me a lot about that game.
Another thing that Noah pointed out in his video on it, which I thought was very insightful, was that a lot of the elements in the open world of Dying Light are like taken whole cloth from other games. Like it's literally the lock-picking mechanism of Skyrim, Fallout. There's a lot of the same kinds of stuff that Far Cry introduced. But he said that by starting at a baseline of game mechanics that players already understand and are fluent in, you're able to build on those right from the start. So you're able to introduce new ideas without tutorializing through, like, your own spin on like how you're going to do crafting or how you're going to do weapon management or locking. Everybody already knows what to do on the basic level like that. Or the game that it assumes you've played Far Cry and it assumes you played Skyrim. And so then it just immediately starts adding ideas on top of those, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, another game that does that. I always felt like when I played Dying Light, it felt a lot like Darksiders, in a way that, it's derivative in a lot of ways, but it's better for it in a weird way. Where Darksiders, it's just rips off a lot from a lot of games. It steals from Zelda, it steals from it steals from God of War, to be honest, and a couple other ones. But by using that sort of shorthand, where it's like, oh, how this works, right? Like, you can't go here until you get this unlock, or, here's how the combat works. And, they don't have to teach you a bunch of stuff, so they can just sort of do weird things, and it works. I love Dying Light. I can't wait for them to make another one. I think that people will look back on that game sort of like they do with Far Cry 2, and they'll say, this is what kind of made, this sort of thing. I think that game is very I like Dying Light a lot, and I think it's sort of underappreciated, although it's sold crazy well.
Yeah,
apparently,
it did.
like long tail. So
I'm trying to remember, but yeah, and I think that justifies and validates that Techlands continued to support it as robustly as they have.
yeah, they pulled a Ubisoft before it was cool, right? Like
Yep.
they've been running that thing for a long time.
Yeah, I mean it's basically been like the first year post release for any other game for 3 years now.
Yeah.
Nice.
And that's, I think, respectable. So if we're gonna have games as services, then this is the way to do it. I think.
Just keep making your game good, and people will keep buying it.
Yep.
Exactly.
All right. So what else we got? There are a couple little stories that came out that we've got in our document here.
Oh yeah.
You know,
I mentioned Sam Fisher. You can now of Splinter Cell fame. I checked this out and I tried the mission out. He's now in Ghost Recon Wildlands. There's a mission you can get where he pops up and you get to actually go and meet Sam Fisher in a Unidad base. And he's all silver haired. He's got a beard, but he's still got the stealth infiltration suit and everything. And it's Michael Ironsides doing it too, which is freaking amazing. He's so good.
Why?
There's this.
The Ghost Recon is the weirdest. That game, Wildlands, is a weird thing.
It's a real weird game.
Yeah.
Because the Predator is in that game now too.
What?
Is he still?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can still play that mission. Yeah.
You can still play that mission. You go and you find a girl in the jungle. I went and tested. I thought this was a limited time event too, but it's still in there.
Cool.
If you go and find this chick in the jungle, she's freaking out, and then you start seeing like skulls with spines attached to them, like hanging from trees, and you're like, man, the cartel's really fucked up. And then all of a sudden, you kind of come across a crashed spaceship, and you have to go further. And then the Predator music starts kicking in. It's insane. And then you have to put your thermal vision on to be able to see where.
That sounds so awesome.
It's amazing. It's real dumb, but it's amazing.
Did they announce that beforehand, or did they just let people stumble across it?
You know what? They fucked up because they announced it. And what they should have done, I think Alex Navarro from the Beastcast talked about this, but he said they should have just put that in there and not said a word.
Yeah.
And let
Had to
people
be a
freak
weird
the hell out
viral
about it.
thing. Yeah.
That is so good. Oh my goodness.
But no, I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, and so they put out some. That's a cool thing, right? Like I think that hidden DLC like that is a neat idea that hasn't really been explored. You know,
Right.
like Capcom actually put out some hidden DLC this week. I don't know that people know, and that in the form of a Nicki Minaj track.
Wow.
I don't know if anybody knew that.
Nope.
I thought that was
Did not.
amazing. Yeah.
That is.
Did you see the cover of this? It's amazing.
It is. That is a cover.
Well,
I mean, it's
do I
very
need
Nicki
to?
Minaj. Yeah. I'll pull that
Do I
up.
need
Yeah.
to
you-
incognito
so-
this one?
Yeah, so Nicki Minaj announced a track called Chun Li, which I'm not sure. I mean, I gotta imagine
Dubious
Chun Li.
legality.
Yeah, there's gotta be some
Let
legality.
me
Yeah,
look this here.
You might want to. You might want to incognito that one. It's quite suggestive. Is what I would
Okay.
say.
Yep. That's what I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, I mean it's
Yeah.
it's exactly
I mean,
what
the
you would
connection
think.
is thighs, right? Like that's
Yeah. Exactly.
yeah.
Okay. Well, there we go.
Yeah, I mean so it's.
So how's the song? Is the song good or?
I don't think it's out yet.
Oh, okay.
So I wasn't able to find it before the cat.
Wow.
I may be wrong, but
That's
She announced this. This is the internet now. She
Yeah, we
announced the single, but it's coming out tomorrow at 10 a.m.
get hype. Get ready.
I want to see what it's about. I like Nicki. For
I
whatever
love Nicki
reason,
Minaj. I think she's
Nicki
amazing.
Minaj,
But
it cracks me up, and I don't know. She bumps. So
she's
pretty good.
It's pretty
Agreed.
wild. Nicki Minaj is doing it. Like I think it's her and Cardi B like kind of fighting each other at this point. Right?
Yeah.
Like there's an escalation of ornaments that's happening here, and I'm not really sure where it leads.
well, then Rihanna will drop a whole album and just kill everybody. So
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, it's very interesting. So we'll see. Do you think Capcom's going to come a knocking?
No.
Do you think they're just going to let it roll?
I think they might just let it go.
I mean, what
I
are
would.
they gonna? Are they gonna fight her over Street Fighter V right now?
You know what they should ask?
exactly.
You know what they should
Well,
ask her is if they can add it to the soundtrack of Street Fighter.
Yeah.
They should, yeah.
And she'll be like, pay me, maybe,
Or throw a Nicki skin on for Chun-Li.
or put her in Monster Hunter. I don't know.
Put Nicki Minaj in Monster Hunter. Hashtag.
There's the idea. That's the $1 million idea right there.
I'll buy it on PC day one.
But day one pre-order content. The Nicki
that'd be
Minaj
crazy.
and Monster Hunter deals. That'd be so.
Man, she's just gonna be in all the Capcom. She gets the song Chun-Li. She's on the song. Like she's ready.
Yeah,
she's ready to go.
Yes, we got to do. This is the greatest synergy idea.
Yeah, fuck you,
Ever.
Drake. We got Nicki Minaj.
Yeah.
Let's get her to play. Oh, okay, here we go. Let's get her to play Radical Heights.
Nicki
That
Minaj
game.
plays Radical Heights with.
Who?
Yeah, who's
Probably
gonna-
Cardi B.
Oh, but it's
Mark
wait,
Summers, the
streamer?
producer
Yeah.
of Double Dare.
No, we're gonna get.
What, she
Get
gets
her to play with
slimed on
Benson.
stream? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
this is a whole
wait.
new. This is we're
Where
gonna
we
get
going?
a whole new crop of listeners if we keep going
We're
down
gonna
this
get
path.
banned. We're gonna get
Like,
banned from
this is
Twitch.
not- we
I
don't-
think we're gonna get a big ass deal from NBC.
The checks are coming. That mattress money.
Yeah,
Here comes the mattress money.
bring it.
Oh man, good lord, we've
Oh
derailed.
man.
No,
Yeah.
the only thing else I had on the list was there's some Dumb Tanks DLC for Arma that just came out. I mean, it's real like if you're into Arma, hey, now there's tanks, and I'm. kind
Was
of
there
excited.
never tanks in Arma?
What was that?
Was there never tanks in Arma?
There were, but they like
These are
like it was
better.
pretty limited. Like,
Okay.
These are better tanks. Yeah, this is the DLC. These are better tanks. They've got like fully modeled 3D interiors,
Okay.
periscopes, and like you'll be able to look at like your, it's hardcore nerd military
Let's go.
sim stuff. So,
That's fair.
but yeah, that's out. I was supposed to review it, but they haven't gotten back to us about code, so I haven't checked it out yet. But if I do, maybe we'll get to that some other time.
You want to talk about some tanks? Let's
Yeah, I want to hear about
Yeah,
this.
Let's go from Chun-Li, Nicki Minaj to
tanks.
the tank DLC
Yo,
for Arma
We
3.
gotta hit them all, man.
Bad transition.
People getting whiplash. Whoa,
Whoa.
These guys.
So-
Gotta
Is
hit 'em
there
all.
anything they won't
But hey, look,
discuss?
you want to start strong and end strong. I think that helps.
In with the tanks.
That's why.
Armor 3.
So anyway, that's all I had, guys.
So two things that I saw that was really interesting. So Witcher 3 is getting a new patch for PS4.
What?
It's going to add HDR support. Which
Oh,
is neat.
nice.
I as one of the people that have an HDR monitor, I like to see
yeah.
HDR getting added to into anything.
Jeez.
And this is sort of a sort of niche thing, and I don't know that a lot of people use this site. I do personally very heavily. Steam Spy is done.
That's true.
So Steam Spy is an analytics website that gives you a very, very detailed statistics on owners of games, how many people own them, how much they play them, ratings, things like that. Due to the backlash that I think we're seeing from the Facebook privacy stuff, Steam is shutting down access to the information that Steam Spy uses to function.
Sucks.
So they're done. A lot of mixed sort of opinions about this. I think everybody's really sad that Steam Spy will be gone, but they understand why Valve is doing what they're doing.
You think Valve would spin up their own Steam Spy type?
Well, they kind of.
I mean, it probably wouldn't be in their best interest.
well, they
It
kind
would
of.
be cool if there was an API call that could take the anonymized data rather
Yeah.
than pulling it. Because the change is basically that you can go to your profile and say, hey, yeah, make my information public. But by default, it's going to be off. So
Okay.
the fact that it's going to be that ruins the statistical model that Steam Spy runs on.
Right.
If it's just going to be people who opt in. I mean, there's nothing that would stop Valve from funneling that through something that made it anonymous or something.
Yeah, I would have
But
to
they-
see. I mean, I think this is, I say the Facebook thing, but it's mostly GDPR, the privacy
Yeah.
regulation in the EU. That's probably the catalyst of this. But I mean, this just is killer for developers, right? Like this is just,
Yeah, it's bad.
I mean, it's real bad for them. So hopefully, yeah, Steam can sort of figure out a way to present that data in a way that isn't like bringing people down, you know. So
It sucks, but I mean, from their perspective, like it's valuable. So
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
they can look at it as
exactly.
proprietary industry data. So I mean, there's
yeah,
which is
so
kind of
it would be a bummer if
they.
they started selling it, but I mean,
It would be, but I'm my feeling is that they just won't share it because
Yeah.
that's just kind of Valve's default.
yeah. So that's a
Yeah,
kind of a
especially
drag.
with these other sites or game selling applications that are coming out, like Razer. I don't know if we talked about that.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, Razer's got a game store now.
Yeah, like I kind of want more game stores just so Steam doesn't have,
I agree.
but I'm still just gonna buy it from Steam probably. if
Yeah,
I'm being
so I
honest.
want there to be competition, but
Yeah.
none of them.
I kind of
even
don't want
come
any
close.
from Razer now.
No, not for, oh god, I'm not gonna talk about Razer.
Yeah, I don't want to shit talk Razer, but I just
Yeah.
think that's the right place for a storefront, right?
No, not at all.
The only other thing that I had that I think is really cool is they added Red Dead Redemption to the enhanced for Xbox One X.
Yes, thanks
Games
for
Pro.
reminding me. I'm gonna download that right now.
Yeah,
That looks so good.
so it
too.
gets upscaled to 4K, which is
Oh my god.
that game is sweet. And man, I
Yes.
tried to play it literally a month ago
Uh-huh.
on PlayStation Now because it's basically the only way that you can get it now, and it was trash. It
Oh,
looked
no.
terrible. It
Imagine
looks
that was fun.
so bad. Like it's man, it's like it's tough to go back and play that stuff, you know. And from what I've seen, that graphic update might be enough to where I could be into it.
Nice. Yeah, I'm gonna
Red Dead
download that
Redemption is one
before
of
I
my
go to
favorite
bed.
games of all time too. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
just a yep.
That's all I got. But some cool stuff, you know.
Yeah, man.
Some
Stuff
sad
is
stuff.
happening.
The Steam Spy thing is a bummer for developers, but I think
That does suck.
I think something will replace that. I have a feeling. So I don't think Valve is silly enough to just turn that off and not do something. But we'll see. So that's it.
They're so analytics driven now too. You know everything. I mean,
Yeah.
developers are going to be starved for something to use
Yeah,
just for metrics.
They'll figure out a way.
Yeah,
I'm convinced that Valve will replace it, but you know they got to do what they got to do to comply. They got to be able to sell games in the UK. Can't exactly just stop doing that, so they got to figure it out. But I think they'll work it out. I have faith. So, all right, guys. Anything else? Anything else burning on your minds? You guys good? No.
Yeah, man. I think we got it.
All right. Well, we'll be back again next week
Yeah.
with more video games to talk
Video
about. Maybe I'll
games.
go to PAX again.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just go to a different PAX this week and just
I'm just gonna make a PAX in my backyard.
sweet. I'll
Maybe
be
put some
there. I'm in.
consoles out there. So Johann Sebastian Joust, maybe. It'd be great.
Wow,
It'd be great.
it's a deep pull, but I'm,
Yeah, man.
I'm into it.
Many people are like, "What the hell is that?" Go look it up. It is. I only played it once, and that one time was amazing. So
All right, so many places that you could subscribe to the cast if that didn't drive you away. That deep pull there. If you can get us on iTunes, review us on iTunes. We would love to have some more reviews on iTunes. So we know there are at least 15 of you listening.
yeah,
So please get on there, give us some reviews. We like our little star rating. It would just make us feel good to think
sure.
about. So we'd love to have that. You can get us on vgwham.com. We're always posting episodes of that. You can also, if you're only listening to the audio version, you can get us live in true Technicolor. See the men behind the madness.
the madness.
I had to think of a M word on the site as well. We're posting the video of the live records. They don't sound as sultry sweet, but you get to see our lovely faces, and that's cool. So where can they find you guys? Like if they want to hear more of just you, maybe they just can't stand me, or
I'm available in text form on Twitter at iBoudreaux.
all right. What about you, Jermaine?
You can find me on the weekends on Twitch, Kryptonite on the Twitch channels, and on that page, there's a bunch of other links, a whole bunch of other stuff. But that's where I'm at nowadays.
All right. And then you can find me also on Twitter at Michael__Benson. Also streaming on Twitch at Michael Benson, just one word, no underscores. And that's it. We'll be back again next week. Thank you for coming. Thanks for being here, gentlemen.
Oh, thank you.
It's always
Good to
a
have
pleasure.
you back, man.
All right.
Yeah, man.
All right, guys. Goodbye out there. Say goodbye.
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 Goodbye. All right, hit the button.
You hit the stop button.
Hit the stop button. Good job.